Shalom, shalom. Praise Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah. We get another chance today. Another chance to walk in the light as He is in the light. And I ask you, Yahuwah, that as the enemy comes to test us with a word, to test us with a word that is just ever so little bit twisted in a lot of cases, Yahuwah, that we would run to our scriptures, Father, and we would look and see if such things are true, if they are the things that you have said, or if they are something to move us in a direction that is not of you. I ask Yahuwah for each and every one of us discernment, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, Yahuwah, to understand the times, Yahuwah, and to walk through them. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Praise Yahuwah in your name, Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Today, feeling better, so that is not 100%, but a real blessing. I want to thank my two friends, Sylvia and Stephanie. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. It's really what pulled me through. Praise Yahuwah. Okay, so let's look at Iyob. We're going to do chapter 4. We're going to do the first part of chapter 4. When I get done clicking buttons, I guess. And we're going to look at verses. I think we're only going to do 1 through 6 today. I'm sure we're only going to do 1 through 6 today. So let's just read the first. This actually 1 through 11 go together. We're going to have to split it into 2, or it's going to be, 4 hours. And Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, "If one tries a word with you, would you become impatient? Who is able to withhold himself from speaking? See, you have instructed many, and you have made weak hands strong. Your words have raised up him who was stumbling, and you have strengthened the weak knees. But now it has come to you, and you are impatient. It strikes you, and you are troubled. Is not your reverence your trust, the integrity of your ways your expectancy? Remember, please, who being innocent has ever perished, and where have the straight ones ever been cut off? According to what I have seen, those who plow wickedness and sow suffering reap the same. Through the breath of Eloah they perish, and through the spirit of his nostrils they are consumed. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion, but the teeth of the young lion shall be broken. An old lion perishes for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness are scattered." So again, we're going to focus on verses 1 through 6. That all sounds like beautiful, does it not? But as we're going to see, as we walk through chapters 4 and 5, it's not what we think it is that we are reading in English, because that all sounds like, oh, he's speaking for Yahuwah. He's not speaking for Yahuwah. None of these 3 neighbors are speaking for Yahuwah. So, as we laid foundation in chapters 1, 2, 3, now there'll be just foundation for the book and the overall picture at the beginning. Chapters 4 and 5 are really going to lay the foundation for the discourses of the 3 men, and of course Iyob's answers. I found this very interesting here. I'm not real big on chiastic structures, or I'm just not big on it. But the way this is laid out, not necessarily being a chiastic structure, just being laid out, This I found in a... Well, let me go and tell you where I found it. In a dissertation by Sunjin Kim. F.I. Anderson, the writer, scholar, he divides chapters 4 and 5 into 4-2, and then 3 through 6, 7 through 11. That's kind of, we're going to look at some of that today. And then 12 to 21, which is the vision portion, and 5, 1 to 16, 17 to 26, and 27. He assigns as the center of how everything is laid out that Eliphaz is going to speak of as chapter 4, verses 12 to 21, which is specifically that vision portion. His division not only fits well within the spectrum of scholarly consensus, and I'm not big on scholarly either, but there it is, i.e. divisions after 4:11 and 5:16, but also forms a symmetrical introverted structure, a chiasmus structure, with a discernible structural center. And so here's how he has it laid out. It's A is the opening remark, and then we have B, which is 3 through 6, and then we have, and it begins with clause behold. We'll just leave that. Then we have section C, and this is Yah's dealings with the men. And then he tells some things about that section. The revelation of truth, supposed revelation of truth in the vision portion. And then we come back out of the chiastic structure at C, coming backwards. Again, Yah's dealings with men. Yah's dealings with men. B, exhortation. And backwards into A, his closing remark. According to Anderson, the center, D, 4, 12 to 21, Eliphaz's vision, serves as the basis for Eliphaz's discourse in chapters 4 and 5, and I would agree. What surrounds D is the doctrinal argument, i.e. the doctrine of retribution. And in C, coming in and C going out, that Eliphaz develops from the vision's message. Out of this doctrine then emerges Eliphaz's exhortive advice as reflected in B coming in and B going out. Finally, the opening A and closing remark A encircle the whole block of Eliphaz's speech. And Sunjin Kim added a few things to this chiastic structure up here, as noted down here in this footnote. So that's kind of the structure that I'm seeing is going to really come forth as we go through this. But this right here, this supposed revelation of truth, I can't remember if this guy thinks that they are working for Yah or not. I can't remember if Anderson does. But the supposed revelation of truth is what's going to move the whole entire conversation. As the adversary wants to move the whole entire conversation, or as Yahuwah wants to be of the whole conversation. But we're going to see it's the adversary. So, one more piece of quote-unquote commentary, I guess. Klein, elusive sound play in the Hebrew Bible, 50. Garrett, Job, 35, also remarks. Expressions of the demonic doctrine found at 4, 12 to 21, and 25, 2 to 6, bracket the speeches of the friends. Thus, the layout of the text is as the author intended it. Functionally, demonic doctrine colors everything the three say, since the bracketing indicates that their discourses begin and end with the Spirit's teaching. And so here they propose that the original vision in 4 to 12, then we have the first cycle 4 to 14, and the vision is reintroduced by Eliphaz in chapter 15, which is the next round of speeches. Then we have 15 through 21 for the second cycle. Then the vision is reintroduced by Zohar in 22 to 8. And the third cycle's, I don't know why that comes off there like that. The third cycle is chapters 22 to 25. And then the vision again is reintroduced by Bildad in 25, 4 to 6. So this piece right here doesn't quite bracket it, but maybe we'll find something as we go that really puts a bookend here at 21. I don't know. That might be Iyob speaking. I can't even remember. We'll look when we get there. Oh. So that, again, some of the information that I pulled is from, and I want to make sure credit is given where credit is due, a dissertation presented to the faculty of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy by Sun Jin Kim 2017. And we're not going to use a whole lot of his stuff because, he's a Baptist, but there were just a few good points in here that I thought really laid it out, and again, I have to give credit where credit is due. So, from a Hebrew perspective, let's see what we find and see if it kind of lays itself out in that manner. So, Job 4:2, which was the opening remark, and my mouse, right here, the opening remark by Eliphaz, going into the speeches. If one tries a word with you, would you become impatient? But who is able to withhold himself from speaking? So we have this word tries here, H5254, nasa, a primitive root to test, by implication to attempt. We see it in Benner's lexicon at 1314, HV. Here in green, the V is to test. We're also going to run into this word, I do believe, trial, H4531. At the two-letter parent root of harmony, we have a noon sin. The action is lift, the concrete is standard, the abstract is refuge. The pictograph noon is a picture of a seed representing continuance. The sin is a picture of a thorn representing the idea of grabbing hold. Combined, these mean continue to grab hold. The tribal flag that is hung from a horizontal pole and lifted up high and seen from a distance. I wonder whose banner these guys were running under. I think we're going to really see. So we have the noon, the sin, and the hay. So we have continue to grab hold of what is revealed. If one tests Iyob with the word, just as Yahusha was tested in the wilderness with the word, albeit a twisting of it in both instances, will Iyob continue to grab hold of the revelation of Yah's word, or will he grab on to the words that will now come forth from the demonic vision? What a picture. What a picture. So here's word, and most of us know it's debar. A word, by implication, a matter as spoken of. A word, by implication, a matter as spoken of a thing, adverbally a cause. Down here, of course, it is the word, it's an arrangement of words. And it's not just about how the words are arranged. It's about when you're face to face with each other, the tone, the body language. I guess tone includes inflection in some respects. And the arrangement of them. Now, if you're just reading them in the book, or any book, writers can arrange these words in such a way that it will lead you to a certain point. Some of it will have to do with how involved you are in the book, and if it is the scripture book, you beseech Yahuwah for discernment. Anyway, I didn't really want to go all there. It's an arrangement of words. An arrangement or placement of something creating order, or in this case, maybe not. Comes from the Dal Resh. And the Dal Resh is 1089 in the ancient Hebrew lexicon. It's the back and forth movement of man. A generation is one revelation of the family line. The Hebraic understanding of order is the continual cyclical process of life and death, or renewal and destruction. This root can also have the meanings of circling around of something in a wide area, or to cover a large area. So, just as we saw in Iyob Chapter 3, the cycle has not ended in this lifetime for those of us who are still alive, and it's not over for Iyob. Wasn't over for Iyob. That's what we talked about in Chapter 3. The adversary is continually trying a word with us, continually. Even though he uses Yah's word, yeah, we got on the fly fix going on here, huh? It does not create order, but chaos. It is a continual cycle, generation after generation. We must answer with the word from a place of knowing Yah is in control. Submit to Yahuwah and resist the adversary, and he will flee from you. So the adversary did not just disappear after chapter 2. He is working through the words of each one of these neighbors. He wasn't just there and did his duty and whatever he was going to do physically in Iyob's life, and now he's gone. He's still here. He's still there. He's still here too. So let's go to Matthew 4, 1 through 11. Yahusha was tried. How much less us? I mean, that we've been already told that. Plan on it. Then Yahusha was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tried by the devil. How about that stuff? With a what? What was he going to try him with? A word? Was he going to show him anything at the same time? In some instances he did. It was all about the word. It's all about the seed that you're planting. It's all about who you're resonating with. And obviously Yahusha didn't resonate with the devil. And after having fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. Think about how Iyob was. After all that happened to him, he was down and out. Very, what the adversary would consider a very opportune time. Though it didn't work with Yahusha. He had to wait for another opportune time. When you are down and you are out. And the trier came and said to him, If you are the son of Eloah, command that these stones become bread. But he answering said, It has been written. And what did he use back? The word. It's all a word game. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yahuwah. From the mouth of Yahuwah. Not from the mouth of the adversary. That's why we have to be so familiar with the truth that when the counterfeit looms on the horizon, we recognize it immediately. Then the devil took him up to the set-apart city, set him on the edge of the set-apart place, and said to him, If you are the son of Eloah, throw yourself down. For it has been written, He shall command His messengers concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, so that you do not dash your foot against a stone. And they said to Iyob, all this that's happened to you is because you're this big unrighteous sinner. I'm not saying he didn't have any sin, but these were not why these things came upon him. Yah's providence is Yah's providence. Yahusha said to him, "It has also been written, you shall not try Yahuwah, your Eloah." And they did that to Yahuwah. I do believe that is the exact same word. So, man does the same thing. Why? Because we're in flesh. Let's go look. Let's just go see. Let's see if that's the same word. I could be wrong. Deuteronomy 6:16. Let's go see. Let's pull this over here. Everyone can see it. Same root line. Right there. Noon, sin, hey. Same thing they did in the wilderness to Yahuwah. Do we do it? Again, the devil took him up on a very high mountain and showed him all the reigns of the world and their esteem, and said to him, "All these I shall give you if you fall down and worship me." Then Yahusha said to him, "Go, Satan, for it has been written, you shall worship Yahuwah your Eloah, and him alone you shall serve." Then the devil left him, and see, messengers came and attended him. And all the three guys wanted Iyob to come into agreement with them. Before ruling by Eloah. It seems like, as we're going to go through the rest of the book of Iyob. We'll see. I'm not sure about that, but we'll see. Luke 4. So there we see a comparison. How much less us? It is a constant battle of the word, which is a frequency, which you're either going to resonate with it, which is magnetism, or you're not, and it's going to cause, it equals energy, which means what you think, what you do, what you speak, how you act, what you look at, all these different things that encompasses what you do with that energy. I don't think the adversary isn't trying to kill your energy. The more you want to be with Yahuwah, the more he's going to try and bury you. Luke 4:13. Hang on. And when the adversary had ended every trial, he went away from him until a convenient time, or for a season. I must be going to look at, we're looking at G3986. I think that's why I have the Greek up there. I did this a while back. I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't do it. So, G3986. I think this is our trial right here. But I'm not one of those people that'll tell you something that is that I don't know that it is. Let's look. And y'all can see, if some of you don't know how this works, this will be a good time. G3986. And then you put it on the polyglot. Oh, no, not that. And you go here. And okay. So here it is here, test. This is Exodus 7:17. It's Deuteronomy 6:16. That's the one we talked about. And as you can see, the word test, same word here. The same word we're looking at, H5254. Okay, so that's how you trace it back. Oh, it's a nice lesson. So we see it there, and again, he will depart from you and look for another opportune time. And sometimes they may roll one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. It may be like it was in Iyob's case, where he was surrounded by these guys, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. Does it ever feel like that? Sometimes. I think so. Revelation 12:9. We talked about this, I don't know, I think chapter 1 or chapter 2 video. And the great dragon was thrown out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, or the opponent, who leads all the world astray. He was thrown to the earth, and his messengers were thrown out with him. Okay, so he is leading all the world astray except the elect, if that were possible, to cause them to miss the mark so that they're not there at the time of the revelation of Yahuwah who came to rescue us. And his messengers were thrown out with him. Now, I understand they were not human messengers, and I don't think so, that were thrown out with him. Some may think that. I'm not here to argue that point. But humans, us as humans, can be messengers for the adversary. Some know it. Some are very open and blatant about it, and some don't know it. Doesn't mean you can change the ones that don't know. Only Yahuwah can give the increase. So every time something is said to us, hear me, Stephanie, every time something is said to us, our reply should be with the word of Yahuwah. Whether it's something that's being spoken to us of Yahuwah, or something by Yahuwah, or Yahuwah's people, or whether it's being spoken of by the adversary, or by the adversary's messenger, whatever form that looks like, our answer should be the word. We need to be so familiar with the word that we can always answer with the word. Oh, wow. Who knew that was coming today? We need to be so familiar with the truth, we can answer with the truth. Wow. Matthew 24:24. For false messiahs and false prophets shall arise. Oh, and they shall show great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the chosen ones. See, I have forewarned you, says Yahusha. You've been forewarned. We've all been forewarned. I am not in any less of a place than anybody else. We've all in this proverbial boat, ark, together. Okay. Hebrews 2:14-18. Therefore, Therefore, since the obviously it's been a while ago since I did this, so I didn't know why, but now I see why. Therefore, since the children share in flesh and blood, he himself similarly shared in the same, so that by means of his death he might destroy him having the power of death, that is, the devil. How does the devil have the power of death? Because that power comes from a root line that means to know your weapon. Do we know our weapon? I'm sure that's where that word comes from. Are we so familiar with our weapon that we overcome sin Because the wages of sin is death, and that is what the devil, the adversary, our enemy wants us to be in is sin, to live in is sin, not that we're never going to sin. Let me say it that way. Not that we're not ever going to sin, because if we say that, we're a liar. But he knows the weapon. Do we? And deliver those who throughout life were held in slavery by fear of death. By what? By giving us the implanted word that we are to accept with meekness. For doubtless he does not take hold of messengers, but he does take hold of the seed of Abraham. So in every way he had to be made like his brothers in order to become a compassionate and trustworthy high priest, Malkitsedeq, in matters related to Eloah, to make atonement for the sins of the people. For in what he had suffered, himself being tried, he is able to help those who are tried. How? Now, can he move something in a direction that we couldn't have moved it if we tried? Absolutely. He showed us how to die to the flesh. He showed us what the Word made flesh, to use the Word to come against the adversary. That's the only thing that's going to kill the adversary is the Word. And the Word is Yahuwah. That's the only thing that's going to kill the adversary's twisted word is Yahuwah's word of truth. And we're going to be tried, just like Iyob. What are we going to grab onto? Revelation 3, 7-13. And to the messenger of the assembly of Philadelphia write, He who is set apart, he who is true, he who has the key of Dawood, he who opens the door and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens, says this, I know your works. See, I have set before you an open door, and no one is able to shut it. That you have little power, yet have guarded my word, spoke the truth, was so familiar with the truth that we were not only hearers but doers. And when the adversary came at us, we guarded the word because we recognized it immediately, and have not denied my name. That's what the word will do. You will not deny his name, and his name is all-encompassing. You can see the video on the name that Steph and I did somewhere down there on the channel. See, I am giving up those of the congregation of Satan, who say they are Yehudim and are not. We're not going to touch that one. But lie. See, I am making them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. Oh, because you have guarded my word of endurance. The word will cause you to endure until the end. I shall also guard you from the hour of trial, which shall come upon all the world to try those who dwell on the earth. Just as Iyob made it through to the end with a double portion new seed and kept his life, we have the opportunity to obtain eternal life, and the second death having no power over us, being in the first resurrection. See, I am coming speedily. Hold what you have, that no one take your crown. Don't give it up. He who overcomes, how do we overcome? With the word. We are overcomers in Messiah. I shall make him a supporting post in the dwelling place of my Eloah, and he shall by no means go out. And I shall write on him the name of Eloah, and the name of the city of Eloah, the renewed Jerusalem, stones in the wall, which come down out of the Shemaim from my Eloah, and my renewed name. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit, which Spirit? The Ruach says to the assemblies, not the Spirit that we're going to see in Iyob, coming out of Eliphaz's mouth in a little bit. So praise Yahuwah, guard his word. Be so familiar with the truth that when the counterfeit looms on the horizon, you recognize it immediately. So, it's all moved by a word. Whose word, frequency, do you resonate magnetism with? Yahuwah's people are moved by his word, if they so choose. Yahuwah's people are moved by his word given by the prophets. Daud was not moved by the word of his men to tear the corner of Shaul's robe. Some people were moved by the words of Korah. Miriam's and Aaron's words moved Yah against them. The Pharisees and the Sadducees' words moved people against Yahusha and the taught ones. Not that Yahuwah is surprised by any of it or doesn't know any of it's happening. Nebuchadnezzar's words moved some people to bow before the statue and the 3 young men not to bow. Jezebel moved the men of Belial with the word to move the people with the word to have Naboth stoned. Yahuwah gave the word to Adam and Hawa, and a word not to eat from the tree of good and evil. The adversary came with a word to Hawa, and in turn Hawa to Adam to move them to sin. It's one seed versus another seed, and the seed is the word. What seeds are we sowing? What seeds are we allowed to grow in the soil of our hearts and be pumped throughout our body? Actually, that are made in the marrow and the bones, but it's another thing. We need to be so, how many times I can say this? We need to be so familiar with the truth that when the counterfeit looms on the horizon, we recognize it immediately. So I want to take a quick look at these words. If one tries a word with you, would you become impatient? And we're going to really delve into impatient in the next part here. But let's look at verse 2, because that's the verse that is the opening remarks. Okay. Would thou be impatient, or would thou be grieved? We don't need that. We'll go this. Better's Lexicon, it's 1258 DV. Weary. To be weary from a non-productive effort. To be without results. It's related to the Lam El, because of course we're reading from right to left, and the Lam El is actually the opposite of El. Okay, so would thou be weary from the fact that this is going to be a non-productive effort is kind of how I see it. But who is able to withhold from speaking? But who can withhold? 1242 LV is can. Who is able? One who is whole or complete is able to do or perform something. So who can withhold himself? Okay, these guys are so full and filled up and whole with what's going to. I'm assuming Eliphaz already had the vision, because he immediately goes into it after this, and he's already doing his dissertation, so he's already had the vision. That is going to be my position. So he's full of this vision already. And now he's going to walk forth and speak it. And who knows what kind of performance he's putting on. I don't know. Well, we got theater everywhere today. I'm sure you all understand that. So I think it's interesting that he is full up. Well, maybe a lot full up. I don't know. Maybe just a little full up. But he is full of this vision and is now ready to bring it forth. Why? To lead astray even the elect, if that were possible. Because those in the first resurrection, the second death has no power over them, will be the bride. Iyob was before Moshe. There was a priesthood running before Moshe. So it makes you wonder, it doesn't make me wonder, but it might make people wonder what this whole thing that was written aforetime is for us. What it's about. This is what it's about. It's about getting through this and being so familiar with the truth that when the ones come along that are filled up or are using the words of the enemy, that the bride recognizes immediately because she can't be led astray, just like Yahusha wasn't led astray. Of course he wasn't. Okay. So, who can withhold to stop from occurring in the sense of halting, shutting, or restraining? He couldn't shut his mouth. Just leave it at that. From speaking. Okay? A word. A chain of words blended together to form sentences. Okay? I'm not big on the word sentences, but okay, it's putting together of the words. A continuation of segments which fill the whole. So we saw that a word is actually an arrangement of words, and this is how they are all blended together to bring forth whatever message, whether it be for righteousness or unrighteousness, to lead to Yahuwah or to lead against or away from Yahuwah. That's what's kind of going on in the rest of that verse. I'm not going to go deep into any of those words because there's just not enough time. Okay. Oh. So, that was just verse 2. And I'm not one that's big on taking a verse. So obviously we're going through the whole book, so we're going to see that it all fits together. We're going to end this part here. I want to take some time, and I would really encourage each of you to take some time to listen to the words that are being spoken to us, to discern whether they are really of Yahuwah. Because even the adversary will use the words of Yahuwah, as we've just seen. So we're going to leave it here, and next time we come back, we're going to go through 3 through 6. These chapters 4 and 5 are so important that I think we're just going to take our time going through them. So Yahuwah, praise Yahuwah. I just ask you, Father, that you give us eyes to see and ears to hear and a heart to turn and repent and to recognize when the adversary is trying to lead us astray in all matters, not just matters like Iyob's. He is trying it on everyone, coming from every direction that he possibly can, because the time is short. We've been saying that for a long time. The time is short. He knows his time is short. But Yahuwah, give us an understanding of what it really means today. Because it's shorter than it was yesterday. But it's really short now. And so, Father, I ask that you would, Yahuwah, cover us, Yahuwah, with your Spirit that would guide and lead us into all truth, Yahuwah. That is what we speak, and that is what we do to everyone that comes in our path. Praise Yahuwah in your name. Hallelujah. Praise Yah.